ODI 3 out of 3 just concluded in Vizag with a trumping victory for Team India. India secured the series win 2-1 against an emboldened South African side who just came off a Test series win. So it's great to see from a series to series perspective, India's 1-1. Awesome match in Vizag. Great performances all around from India. Kind of was a easier chase at the end, but a lot to talk about. Kohli played well. Jaiswal showed up. Even Quinton the Cock showed up with the bat as well. So a lot to talk about and a lot to unpack today.
Yes, welcome back to another episode of the In Between Overs podcast. Where your host for the day's play. I'm Taran.
And I'm Ishaan.
Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Nice game, great chase by India. It showed that batting second was a lot easier because of the dew. And even though in the first two games being competitive and going right to the wire, this game was done and India walked home with a win quite easily in the end.
Yeah. And hey, huge toss to win. And thankfully, India finally won a toss after God knows how many years in this format. But yeah, that was a big factor, as you mentioned, the dew. You could tell by the South African bowlers weren't really able to hit their marks. But at the end of the day, you still have to make a chase. You still have to score runs. And India had a great opening partnership and then was able to really finish it off relatively quickly and really with no issues.
Big 100 by Jaiswal, 116. He ended up with his first ODI 100 in his fourth one-day international. He hasn't been getting a lot of chances because of the packed top order that India has, but very happy for him and very happy in the way that he got the 100. He started off in a stuttering fashion. It wasn't his typical
Hmm.
fluent self. It looked like he was fighting it out to bat long, and that was really good to see. You could see that he was getting coached while batting via Rohit and then Kohli. And if his first 60 balls from I watched a little bit of it live, and his first 60 balls, I think he was around in his 30s still. He was in late 30s and just about around 40, and from then on, he took off and he ended up almost at a runner ball, scoring at a runner ball. So his last 70-ish runs came from about 60 balls. So he picked it
Wow.
up after in the back half of his innings, and that was good to see. Once he felt established and he changed gears and he was able to get India over the line with Kohli at the end there. So it was super impressive to see how he paced that inning.
Yeah, and I think a part of that was definitely the first score by South Africa being a little under par. It kind of gives sort of the opposition, India at this time, some time to understand, how to time their innings. And I think to your point, Jaiswal did superbly with that. He didn't have to rush, didn't have to really take advantage of any power plays. He knew what the score was, and he knew his capability. And on top of that, he probably knew that as the game went on, the ball would get more wet, harder for the bowlers to grip. But no, great innings, great celebration as well. And I know there has been a lot of talk about this format being best suited for Jaspal. I know, he scored 100. I think it's yet to be proven because of how good he is in Test cricket. ODI being his number one format. I know there's a lot of talk about that, but I think right now his Test batting performances are way better than his ODI performances. I know the sample size is quite small, but I do want to see him given those opportunities but performing well as well. And it's tough, I get it, because Gill is injured. And then you still have Rohit Sharma, who, as we saw today, scoring a great 70, an impactful 70, something you want from Rohit Sharma. It's going to be interesting how Jaiswal's career pans out in the one day format.
Yeah, I think the longer rope that he gets, the more opportunities he gets, I think he'll just be better for it. He definitely seems like an all format player for India in every format, and I think over time we're going to see him in every format, and he is going to perform well. I believe. I think he has the technique, he has the temperament. He's young. He's going to learn a lot. He's going to gain a lot of experience, and he's going to be one. They've said it's been said, and I think he will end up as one of India's greatest openers in 10 to 15 years from now.
Yeah, no, he definitely has, all the foundations for that. But let's talk about Roko. Roko again, pulling up really, really honestly making all the haters shut up really with their performances. Impactful 70 from Rohit. I think he would be a little upset that he was unable to get a century as well. He was looking phenomenal. And then Kohli as well. Kohli with a great knock. I think there's maybe two less runs on the board because he was looking to get a century as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about Rohit first. With Rohit, I felt he gave his wicket away. He could have
Hmm.
easily scored another century. It seemed like he was trying to go after Maharaj at the time, and he just mistimed that one. I think he could have played it smartly and maybe gone after the quicks because it seemed like Maharaj was bowling well. In fact, he was the only South African that bowled his entire 10, which showed that he was the only threat, really. The rest of the bowlers, the batsmen were playing them no problem. I think Rohit Sharma could have played him more sensibly and maybe gone after the other balls. But having said that, it was a great innings. It felt like he carried the opening partnership to begin with because Jaiswal was a little scratchy.
Hmm.
And some again, we saw some of the classic Rohit shots that we always see, and it's good to see. It's good to see Rohit and Kohli in the form that they're in, given all the conversations, and I know we've talked about this on previous pods when we covered the Australia series. All eyes were on Rohit and Kohli coming back into the one day team and wondering how they're going to perform. They haven't played a competitive cricket and things like that. And here they are carrying the team literally when it comes to run making in the last two series now. So it's good to see their form. And yeah, very, very happy with his 75. Good, good innings for sure.
Yeah, and I definitely think from Roach's perspective, this series, the way that it concluded, I think he really performed at sort of what he wanted to do. He showed everyone that he's still a marquee opener for Team India. He's able to play those shots. And I think you gotta look at it from this way. Is a team more scared with a team with India having Rohit Sharma in it? I think yes. I think a team is way more, they have to do a little bit more planning if Rohit Sharma is in the ODI squad for Team India. So I think he proved that this series.
Yeah, I was curious to see how many double hundreds Rohit Sharma has, just as you were saying that, because you cannot leave a guy out that has so many double hundreds and wonders, and he definitely makes this team better. And I think he deserves to get the opportunity to leave on his own accord. I don't think, and I do feel they both will. When I say both him and Kohli, I don't think that they're gonna get dropped out of this. It'll be a big thing. I mean, we saw it in the tests. They weren't dropped per se, but they did walk away. Whether they walked away on their own accord is a different story. But they did walk away. So I feel like we're gonna see something similar there.
No, and fair enough. And I think that's a good transition now to Kohli. Kohli, I think he was India's leading scorer this series. And I think I read this on Twitter. Again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe Kohli needed to get 65 runs this last game to become India's top scorer in ODIs this year. And I think he did that. And that just shows his pure class. He definitely, at least this series, showed everyone that when it comes to ODIs, he's still the GOAT.
He is the GOAT, and yeah, I think he'll always be the GOAT in ODIs. You're talking about this format dying, the format coming to an end. I don't see any other batter going forward surpassing what Kohli's doing in one days. He is phenomenal. He is now at 53 centuries. And we were talking this offline. Like if he's able to play wonders for another 4 or 5 years, you never know. You never know. He could get to 100 international centuries just from scoring one day centuries.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. Question for you, Tron. Do you see, at least looking at Kohli's recent form, a potential parallel with another superstar who's also way above his average age when it comes to his class, LeBron James? Do you think you see some similarities?
Yeah, I mean, I truly believe he's one of the top athletes in the world amongst all sports. And we know at some point, I don't know about now, but at some point he was from a financial standpoint one of the top athletes in the world,
Hmm.
um, for a reason. And I feel that he has the ability to play as long as someone like a LeBron James, as someone like a Tom Brady, who have Tom Brady played till he was 45, I believe.
Yeah, crazy.
Um, and LeBron's still going at 42. right? And regardless, 40 plus. It's crazy to think sports athletes are able to go that long. Such is the nature of sports performance and all the recovery tools and resources that athletes have these days. And with the way Kohli works out and stays fit, he still looks extremely fit in the field. He doesn't look like he's 37. He still looks like he's 33, 32, and he's batting really well. The eyes are there, the hands are there, the timing's there. Everything's looking good. He's looking like the Kohli of 2016, 2017, as it's being said on the internet, when he was in that purple patch, just scoring runs like it was nothing. And we're seeing that again. And I think if he continues that, if he's able to stay fit, um, I think we're going to see him. We could see him play for a long time.
I know, and, like, I think a moment for me that really showed what you mentioned, like, the eyes are there, the hands are there, was his no-look 6 off Bosch, and I think Bosch gave him a look of respect, and then behind the stumps, Quinton de Kock also gave a look of, like, class, like, "You know what? Fair enough."
Yeah. That shot over mid wicket, that,
Yeah,
in my opinion, is Kohli's signature shot. Because a cover drive is played by a lot of batsmen. And yeah, Kohli makes the cover drive look really good. But that shot over cow corner or mid wicket where he doesn't he doesn't hoik the ball. He flicks it while pulling it, which
unreal.
is like you don't see batsmen play a shot like that too often. And he did that without looking at the ball. It was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal shot. And for me, that's the shot that I remember Kohli for. The any sort of flick pull type shot, his usage of his bottom hand is what I remember Kohli for. And that was an
He's a bottom
iconic
hand
shot.
player. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel you on that. It was iconic. So India chased 270 in about 39 or 40 overs,
Yeah.
but they only had to chase 270 was because of India's bowling performance in the first innings. What were your thoughts on both India's bowling performance and South Africa's batting?
Yes, I'm happy that India stuck with the bowling lineup or with the team for the most part. I know Washi was I shouldn't say drop, but they decided to play Tilak Varma instead. Probably wanted a little more on the batting side of things. We were talking about finishing. I think that's probably why he was in there to give India some more firepower in that lower middle order. Wasn't needed, but I think that's why he was in the team. But in any case, they stuck with the main five bowlers, and I was happy to see that because when we talked about this on the second pod, we felt that Do had some sort of an impact on the bowling performance. And we didn't want to say it like it was an excuse, but we now got that justification that yes, it did make an impact because South Africa were not able to do much. They were struggling to get their lengths to the lines, and the Indian batsmen found it quite easy. The Indian bowlers now got a chance to bowl when the ball was um, a lot drier, and we saw them play really well, bowled really well as a unit. Kuldeep Yadav was a standout, and Prashad Krishna chipped in really well at key moments in the game.
Yeah, no, firstly, let's focus on Kuldeep Yadav. He is that wicket taker. He is just that guy. And he's able to extract those 2 wickets in an over. That really does change the momentum of the game. And once he does that, it really does change the direction for Team India in any match. So I think Kuldeep Yadav, whether, in any subcontinent condition, whether it's test match, ODI, or T20, he is a good shout to have.
Yeah, he is a match winner because he is a mystery bowler in his own right. And he has the ability to take a cluster of wickets in no time, especially against middle lower order batters that are not used to facing quality spin all the time or may not have the skill set to play as well against quality spin like the top order can. And that's where he becomes a weapon. And especially with India wanting to rest Bumrah a lot and manage his load a lot, you have to have, I've said this in other pods, you have to have an X factor bowler, and Kuldeep's that guy. And he showed us that in this inning for sure.
Yeah, and a little funny moment as well. I think this was at the post-match press conference. There was some conversation about his appealing for LBWs and Obviously Rahul not really obliging, but he actually Kuldeep Yadav mistakenly said Rohit Sharma the captain, and then he tracked back saying, "Oh, sorry, I mean former captain." So it's nice to see that Rohit Sharma still has that leadership role in the field when it comes to DRS decisions or whether to take a call upstairs.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that, but that's cool. That's cool that you mentioned that. Shout out to the skipper, former skipper.
Former skipper. Hey.
What else did you like about the bowling? I think Arshdeep was solid at the top once again. He could have got maybe a couple more wickets, but he looked good again with the new ball.
Yeah, he's a reliable bowler. Arshdeep is India's reliable bowler. He is probably one of the most experienced seamers without Bumrah or Siraj in the lineup. So he is, in my opinion, a must-have in any game. I know he's still going to have to prove himself in the test match. Sorry, in the test series. But when it comes to white ball, he is a great shout to have. He is a reliable bowler. He knows what to bowl, and he's a smart bowler as well. And you hear praises from every corner, from Ashwin's YouTube channel to even Harsha Bogle. People know how much value he brings because he's accurate and he's, as I mentioned earlier, he knows what to bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a great fight back by India. At one point, South Africa were 168 for two, and QDK, Quinton de Kock, was looking in good touch, ended up scoring a century. And Matthew Ritzke, who's suddenly become this reliable middle order bat for South Africa. I think he has like 5 or 6 50s already in less than 10 matches, or just about 10 matches, and he's been playing really well. And at that stage, it looked like South Africa were going to head to a target in excess of 325, 350. And that's when Prasad Krishna got that wicket of Bretske. And from then, South Africa were not able to recover. They just kept losing wickets consistently. Aiden Markram, I felt bad that he had to be dropped down to to number 5. I felt that after last innings century, he looked really good at the top, and I feel like he belongs at the top. But they had to shuffle the lineup, so he ended up going down to number 5 because Dizorzi wasn't playing, and he got out. And then Brevis again threatened,
Yeah.
but then Kuldeep struck, and he struck, getting him out, getting Janssen and Bosch out without them troubling the scorers too much in terms of getting something substantial.
Yeah, and that was a point. It was getting those wickets in those clusters that really changed the game. Because to your point, it reaches about, the, middle over pack, maybe a little bit, closer to the end of the innings, where teams that have to move up and ramp up their run rates. And when you do that, you have to really take your chances against Kuldeep Yadav. And we know it's so hard to do that, where you're trying to get at least 1 or 2 boundaries per over, and Kuldeep Yadav knows that, and he's able to bowl the ball in such a way that you're gonna be mistiming it or hitting it off the wrong part of the bat, and that's what gets India those momentum changing deliveries.
So that's it. 2-1 is the series, is how it ends. It was going to be a competitive series, and it ended up being that. It was fun to watch. India did win it pretty easily in that third game, but overall, it was a fun series. Do you have a big takeaway from the series for you, whether it's for India or South Africa or both?
My only takeaway is 2. Well, actually, it's 1. They're both. I was gonna say 2, but they're both the same. Coco. You can't teach leadership. You can't teach experience. Sometimes you're gonna have to include match winners, even if you think they're past their prime, because at the end of the day, they're match winners. Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli proved that in my eyes, this series especially.
Yeah, so that's the obvious takeaway for sure. I like that. I'm gonna throw something different. Jaiswal and Ruturaj Gaikwad, their centuries was good to see because it showed that okay, India were able to perform with someone else other than Rohit and Kohli, because it seems like in the last few wonders, going back to the Australia series, they were somewhat being carried by those two players. So now it's good to see that we got Gaikwad and Jaiswal with centuries. Rahul was consistent as well during the
Yes,
series.
yes.
Two back-to-back 50s, didn't get to back today, or not today, but in the third match. So I like that we were able to get runs out of the other batsmen.
One question I want to leave off before we wrap up this ODI series. Where do you see Rishabh Pant in the ODI setup.
I don't see him in the ODI.
Fair, fair.
I think Rishabh Pant's best format is Test. And maybe he ends up being a test match only batter and keeper. And I think that's totally fine. I think that's totally fine. I don't think there's anything wrong or shameful that someone's not a all format player. I think India has way too much quality in the team that you can have players that just play single formats. And Pant has gotten a chance to play in one days and T20s, and he's done good here and there, but he hasn't done good consistently enough, and he hasn't been helped by injuries as well, which I
Hmm.
believe is why he's no, he's out of the team not because of injury
It's not because of
for the
injury.
one day. It's not because of
Yeah, yeah,
injury.
yeah. No,
So
no, no.
I don't see him in the lineup for one days. I think India's fine without him. He could be in as a backup for KL Rahul.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine. But I don't see him playing as a batter alone. If India needs a keeper, if KL is injured or something like that, then yeah, he gets. I could see him playing then. But even then, there's an argument to be made that you have other people there. Samson, Jitesh Sharma, they could play in this format as well. So yeah, I don't think he's India's first choice keeper anymore for one year.
No, that's fair as well. I think you keep him there as a replacement for KL Rahul. I think that's in my eyes, it should be considered a one-to-one swap. Where if KL Rahul is hurt, Rishabh Pant comes in, and that's it. You don't make any other adjustments, and I think this should work. But to your point, he just hasn't proved enough in this format. And KL Rahul, as we've seen, you can't drop him. He is Mr. Consistent, able to bat any position, even able to be a temporary captain when needed as well. So no, you gotta respect KL Rahul and make sure he's in the team first.
Yeah, awesome. T20 eyes coming up. It's going to be another fantastic series. We got five to look forward to. Hopefully, you get the whole five, not like it happened with the Australia series, where I think we only got three, if I'm not mistaken. So, hopefully, we get all five. It's going to be a good series again, a good battle between ball and bat. And we got a lot to look forward to. Until then, that's done.